Hey folks, Eric Prey, Focus Fishing Guide Service. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, August 21st. Been on the water pretty much every day for the last week. As far as our lake level is concerned, we are at 913.7 as of this morning, which puts us down, about 2.5 feet, just like last week. It's come up a little bit. We did get quite a bit of rain over the past week, and it's kind of a hazy, drizzly day today. But the lake level is coming up a little bit. It depends. We're supposed to get rain on Thursday. We'll see if that has an effect, and we'll just kind of go from there. But looks like they are kind of maintaining the same generation pattern they have for the last couple of months, running some current later in the afternoon to meet electrical demands, but really that's about it. As far as our water temperature, we have cooled down a little bit. We're at about 81.8 to about 83, depending on where you are on the lake. I have fished in the last week everywhere from up around Cape Fair on the James, all the way up around Big M, excuse me, on the White River. And of course down here by the dam. The water temperature really doesn't fluctuate a whole lot wherever you are on the lake. It's around that low to mid 80s, really more low 80s than anything else. So water temperature is dropping and the fish are moving. We have seen some things change over the last week. If you guys are coming down though and fishing the lower end of the lake, definitely got some good bites going on down here. Still want to have a topwater tied on. Actually, the topwater bite over the last week has improved over the previous weeks. Now, a lot of it is weather conditions. We were out on Friday and it was rainy and cloudy all day long, so they ate a topwater really good, eating a whopper plopper good, eating a spook, a Sammy, Ozeri popper, but eating a topwater really good, especially if you get a cloudy day like we've got today. They'll eat a topwater very, very good. So keep that tied on, keep it on your deck. Down here by the dam, you absolutely need to have a drop shot rig tied on. Caught a lot of fish on a drop shot rig the last week. Shad shape worm, cut tail worm, UV drop shot worm, chompers drop shot worm. All those baits are working, but make sure you have a drop shot tied on and at the ready when you're fishing this down here in the lower end. Most of those fish are out on those gravel runouts, anywhere from about 28 to about 35 feet deep. They're a little bit deeper if it's sunny. If it's cloudy, they'll move up. They'll be in that 22 to 28 foot range. But you'll see them. Usually you hook one and the bottom will blow up, so you can stay on top of a pretty good school down here. Want to have a spoon as well. The Jewel scuba spoons have been working really well, especially on those gravel points and around docks. And have the Dixie Jet tied on too. Caught a lot of fish on the Dixie Jet, casting it and pitching it into dock stalls this past week down here in the dam area. So make sure you have both of those tied on as well. And as far as the docks are concerned, you want to fish those deeper community type docks and look for open slips or look for areas where you can get up underneath the dock and get as close to the walkway and back in the shade as far as possible. Kind of free spool it, let it fall down in there. Pay attention to your line as it's dropping. Most of the fish I'm catching are hitting it as it's falling. So if your line stops too soon or if it pops, set the hook on it, because we're catching fish doing that. And then a football jig. Jewel football jig has been really, really strong all over the lake this past week. You definitely want to have either 1/2 ounce or 5/8 ounce Jewel football jig tied on. Green pumpkin candy, Okeechobee blue, brown purple flash, any of those colors will work. Matched up with a J-tail has been my best trailer, or a UV beaver, either one of those, and work those gravel runouts, those gravel points, even the islands, gravel humps, all that stuff. Work those from about 18 out to about 25 has been where most of the fish have been, and it's been a mix. We're catching a lot more smallmouth this past week than we have been, but we're catching smallmouth spots and largemouth. If you find any brush or any rock on those points and runouts, make sure you pay special attention and make multiple casts into the brush or into the rock piles, because those will produce some better fish. Go up into Kimberling City, same bites are working at Kimberling City. Catching a lot of fish on a topwater in Kimberling City this last week, a lot more than we have been. So make sure you've got your spook, your Sammy, your whopper plopper, your Ozeri popper, all those tied on. Look for fish busting on gravel and even back in some of the coves. If you find shad, you're going to find fish around them. You get the right conditions, you get a rainy, a cloudy day, you will catch some fish on a topwater. So make sure you've got that tied on. Drop shot rig is still working really well out there on those gravel points, out there on those gravel humps, and even some in the trees. The tree bite's been a little bit off this past week, but mostly out on gravel. Seems like the fish are starting to move up a little bit shallower with the water cooling off and the days getting a little shorter. But shad-shaped worm, cut tail worm, UV drop shot worm, chompers drop shot worm, anywhere from about 22 out to about 30, 32 seems to be the magic depth. Jewel scuba spoon, around docks, out there on those long gravel runouts, same sort of deal. You see them down there, and again, it seems like if you've got a group of aggressive fish, you can catch a lot more, a lot faster on a scuba spoon than you can a drop shot rig, just because it falls faster. But doing well with that, and doing well with the Dixie Jet, casting it towards schooling fish or pitching it back into docks. Caught a lot of fish around docks the other day, just pitching it back into those deeper dock slips. Seems like that about overall depth of about 35 to 50 was the best depth, and that seems to be where we caught those fish on the Dixie Jet around boat docks. So make sure you're doing that. And then the football jig, it's amazing how good that football jig bite has gotten over the past week. Either 1/2 ounce, 5/8 ounce jewel football jig, Okeechobee blue, green pumpkin candy, peanut butter and jelly, all those colors are working. Matching it up with either a UV beaver or the jewel J tail, both of those in green pumpkin, and just working it slow along the bottom on those gravel runouts, on those gravel humps and points, and just working it really slow, giving it a little bit of a shake every once in a while. And again, if you find any cover, rock, wood, whatever, work it through that cover a little bit slower and make multiple casts of that cover, because that seems to be where the better fish are hanging out. Wherever you can find a brush or rock pile seems to be where you'll catch some better fish. Go up into the James. The James is actually been really strong. Like I said, I was all the way up above Cape Fair last week, and we had a good day up there. A lot of the fish we're catching, top water bite was pretty strong up there. It was kind of a cloudy day, so not a lot of sun, more broken sun. I guess partly cloudy is what a weather person would call it. But spook, Sammy, whopper plopper, Yozuri popper, all those are working up there. Most of those fish seem to be relating more to channel swing banks up there with the top water. At least that was where we were finding them, on those main lake channel swing bluffy type banks. More towards the ends or in those pockets was where we started to catch them, which is a pattern that usually turns on in the fall as we start to see those fish along those bluffs once things start to cool down. So that is starting to happen a little bit. We did catch them on a drop shot up there as well from about 0.12 down, out on those gravel runouts, 22 to about 32 foot deep. Shad-shaped worm, cut-tail worm, UV drop shot worm, chompers drop shot worm. All those baits were working up there as well. Scuba spoon, caught quite a few on that. Same deal, out there on those runouts, we start to find more aggressive fish. I'll drop a spoon down and see if I can keep them stirred up and actually hook a few more by using the spoon over using the drop shot. Dixie Jet spoon was working pretty good up there too. Not as well as it is in the clear water, but we did catch a few on the Dixie Jet casting it. Didn't really fish any docks up there, so I'm not sure how the dock bite is up there on a spoon. Football jig bite's been really strong up there too. Catching a lot of fish on a jewel football jig, either 1/2 ounce, 5/8 ounce. Green pumpkin candy was a good color up there. Brown purple flash and Okeechobee blue were all good colors matched up with a J-tail. All those seem to be working really well up there on those gravel runouts, on those gravel points, and we're still catching them on a big worm up there. A lot of fish coming out of brush piles on a big worm up on the James. Go up into the White River, and the White River was it was fun. Saturday was a little bit slower than I expected. I don't know, maybe post front or what it was, but I was all the way up around Eagle Rock on Saturday, fished all the way down, fished the White River quite a bit last week, and caught quite a few fish doing a bunch of different things. Topwater bite is good up there if you get the right conditions. The couple of days I was up in the White, we really didn't have the cloud cover like we had on Friday or earlier in the week, so we didn't do as well with a topwater up there as we did down here. But I still think a topwater bite's going to be good with a spook, Sammy, whopper plopper, or Yozuri popper, so have it handy. Did really well with a drop shot rig up there though. Shad-shaped worm, cut-tail worm, UV drop shot worm, and chompers drop shot worm, all are working on those gravel runouts. They're basically in the same locations that you find them everywhere else on the lake. They're going to be in that 22 to about 32 foot deep. Saturday they were a little bit deeper. That's part of the reason why we kind of struggled. We had to move out deeper, didn't find them till a little bit later in the day, but they are out as deep as 35 or 36 foot deep on those gravel points, on those gravel runouts. You'll be out in the middle of the lake in some spots up the White, but that's where the fish are. You'll see them on your electronics. You can catch them doing that. Caught them on a scuba spoon really good. Caught a few bonus walleye last week on a scuba spoon as well. Again, we're fishing those gravel points and gravel runouts from about 25 to about 35 feet deep. Seems to be the key depth. Working the spoon, working the drop shot rig. The scuba spoon was good. Didn't really throw the Dixie Jet while I was up there. The conditions didn't warrant it. But we did do well yesterday up the White River with a football jig. Jewel ½ ounce, 5/8 ounce football jig. Okeechobee Blue was a really good color. Green Pumpkin Candy was a good color. And Peanut Butter and Jelly, all good colors, matched up with a beaver is how we caught him yesterday. It was kind of post-frontal, had sort of a southeast wind blowing. Didn't really want something with a lot of movement to it, so we put the beaver on there, and we caught a lot more fish on it doing that. On those gravel runouts, anywhere from about 18 to about 28 feet deep seemed to be the key, working it slowly along the bottom. Caught quite a few fish doing that yesterday. Guys, it is almost the end of August. We have got, in 2 weeks, we'll be through Labor Day. And the fishermen will get the lake back. No more worried about boats running you over, running between you and the bank, for the most part. Guys still do it, but most of the people on the water will be fishermen, so the fishing is going to be great. The weather's already cooling off. I mean, it's nice today. It's about 72, 73 degrees with this cloud cover. It's only supposed to get to about 80 all week long, but guys, it has been fun fishing, and we're catching some fish. You know, maybe you bought a lake house and you're just trying to figure out, how am I going to catch fish around my lake house? You're struggling a little bit. Give me a call. It's a great idea to go out and catch some fish, learn how to fish the area. Maybe you want to learn a technique. You want to learn how to throw a football jig. Maybe you want to learn how to throw a drop shot rig or a spoon. Right now, we're catching them on those baits, and that bite's going to hold on through September. So if you're thinking about hiring a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743 or hit my website, focusfishing.com. Shoot me an email. We'll figure out dates and times, whatever works out best, or you can book online, whatever works out best for you. Get in touch with me. We'll get on the water. We'll have a good time. We'll catch some fish. Guys, thanks for watching the videos. Take a minute to subscribe if you haven't. But thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.